Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. This is a video, a sort of review overview of Enhanced Photogrammetry by Project Coastline. I'm a bit late to the party. They sent me this review copy a few weeks ago, so apologies for that. But I know a few people have been wondering if this is worth it. What it does, it enhances the coastline of many major cities and areas around the world to give you that a bit more fidelity. Things like bringing up or mending bridges, that type of thing. Adding coastal features that are not in the default photogrammetry areas or world update areas, that type of thing. So in this video I'm just going to give you a quick look at it, a quick overview about it, tell you what it does, show you its features. I'll be comparing some default areas, how they look by default, and then I'll install the Enhanced Photogrammetry and fly over them again, just so you can see the changes when you see the Enhanced Photogrammetry, or this package rather, at play. Well, okay, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get on with this video. Okay, so for the first part of this video, I'm flying around the San Francisco area. This is the default sim. I do have the USA World Update, the latest one, whichever one that was installed. I've also got Accu Season installed. You can see the tree colours may be different as well. I've got it set to Automation Accu Season at the moment, so whatever it picks up in its automation base, automative base, that's what it will display. I was going to uninstall that just to show you the default trees as well, but you know, you may have it installed yourself. But everything else is default. I've got the weather and time set to somewhere in August, I believe, time-wise and date-wise, and weather just on partly cloudy. Now, Enhanced Photogrammetry is available for both Xbox and PC. I believe it's for $12.49 on the Microsoft Flight Sim marketplace that you can buy it at the moment. So it's available for both Xbox and PC. Like I said, this is San Fran. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge there just ahead. San Fran default with just the World Update installed, so everybody can install that. Keep an eye on these areas. Even in this area here, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to show you the default San Fran in one hit, and then I'll show you with Enhanced Photogrammetry. In the video timeline, you can see I've actually split it or segregated the timeline so you can zip backwards and forwards. So this is the default San Fran. Just keep an eye, even on these areas, it does look different slightly in Enhanced Photogrammetry, or with the package running. When we get down to the main city centre, you'll see even more features that are not there in default that are there in the Enhanced Photogrammetry. Small features. You do have to tender your expectations with this package. It will enhance the coastlines, but it won't enhance the photogrammetry massively. Just the areas around the coastline, and as I'll be showing you in this video, you'll get features that are there which are not there by default, like this. So there you go, just take a look around, keep your external view there, just so you can see what's around at default, or what's not around at default might be the better thing there. And we'll come around the bridge here, or come around to the bridge here rather. I'll just go internal for this, just so I can keep an eye on my instruments. And what I'll do, I'll take it off autopilot in a moment. I've got it on autopilot, 1400 feet altitude, and in heading mode. And we'll just banker around to the right here. That will do, and keep her there. She should hold steady. And in fact, I'll take the autopilot off now, so I'm flying manually. So I'll be keeping an eye on my instruments both internally and externally. Well, internally for the instruments. Yeah, do temper your expectations for this. It will do some enhanced features, especially on this part here. So this is the sort of, you call it the Golden Gate Bridge Bay area. And just keep an eye on features here. So this is default. Remember, this is the default version. We'll just fly around here, and then we'll do exactly the same flight with the enhanced photogrammetry turned on. So already I can tell, because I typically fly with the enhanced photogrammetry. Let me just trim up a little bit. My aircraft wants to say no to me. There you go, there's a couple of features. See, feels like a couple of things are sunk here, and you'll notice in the enhanced photogrammetry, these things like this will be showing much more clearly. Yeah, there's a couple of features missing I can see. Looks a bit bare to me compared to the enhanced photogrammetry, but I'll be showing you that in a moment. So there you go, just keep this in mind. And like I said, with the timeline, you can switch between the two of them to see the difference. Even this part, there's bits missing I can see. And we'll fly over to that next bridge, and then I'll show you the enhanced photogrammetry in this area. And a bit later on in this video, we're going to go to a completely different part of the world to show you it at play there. Yeah, it just feels like features are missing. And you don't notice this until you install the enhanced photogrammetry, in fact. So we'll just fly over here. I mean, it still looks stunning. I mean, this is stock sim in effect. Yes, okay, Accu season's running for the trees, but the actual city is stock sim. It still looks pretty stunning on Xbox and PC. This is obviously the PC version. Yeah, it's one of the first areas I came to. I'll save this for another video that I've got intended, hopefully for this weekend. Anyway, there we go. So that's just the default version. It's probably one you're most used to if you fly over this area a lot without the enhanced photogrammetry. There's things that you can see things should be a little bit clearer here. It's showing some kind of pier or something there. But yeah, you'll see the difference in a moment. So there you go. And we'll just fly over this part, and yeah, it's giving you the picture basically of what it looks like at stock. What we'll do now, we'll fly over the same flight route with the enhanced photogrammetry installed. So here we are, back in San Fran again, flying around the same area, same points of reference. Going to try and keep roughly the same flight route. This time though, we've got the enhanced photogrammetry installed. Watch out for the small differences even in this area. It's more obvious around the city area, which we'll be getting to at the moment, in a moment. Watch out for the small differences in this area though. You should see one or two slight differences. Let me just light my aircraft up. Still under autopilot control for the moment, but we shall take it off in just a second. There we go. Even here I can see one or two slight differences with this part. So they've updated bits and pieces here, which if you go and look at the default area, this is slightly more enhanced here. But like I said, it's more obvious once we get around to this area. But yeah, when I was testing this, I thought, oh yeah, I could see one or two differences here. One or two changes here already in this little part. And keep in mind, this is pretty much a worldwide mesh or worldwide change. As I'll be showing you in a moment, after this part we'll be flying over Helsinki, completely different part of the world. Well, there we go. I'll tell you what, I'll take it off the autopilot now, which should be fine. Just bring back my speed and increase my nose up trim there, just so we don't descend too much. As we come up and over the bridge. Now watch out for bits and pieces that weren't there with the default. So even these bits, little bits and pieces here, are a little bit more enhanced than they were at stock or by default. But as you'll see, as we get a little bit further along here, yes, some more defined areas there. It's definitely more defined, isn't it? As we get, look, there's added little bits and pieces. It's almost like things that were underwater are now visible along this coastline. There you go, it looks a lot more filled in as we get along, you'll see. So these little bits and pieces weren't there. Guess they're little jetways for the boats and goodness knows what, I expect. I'm not sure, I don't live in this area, I've never visited this area. There you go, there's more added bits and pieces here. More added scenery, and around here too. And that's what I meant before about tempering your expectations. It will make more things visible that are not visible at stock or by default. So it will enhance these coastal areas. More some than others, should I say. There you go, there's more added bits and pieces there. And as we're flying, even here along. So this is essentially what it does, it just fills it out and makes it look more authentic. Or more authentic to what it looks like in real life. And even there you go. So that's giving you an idea of what this package will do. And like I said, we'll go to a completely different area in just a moment. And I'll show you it at play there. So as we fly over this second bridge here. What's this other bridge called? I'm not going to Google that. I could easily look at that on Google, but somebody can leave that down in the comments. So we'll fly over here. And yeah, there's just more defined, well defined, and you know, instead of having broken piers or jetways or goodness knows what, instead of having broken bits and pieces around, you've now got it all filled out and more defined. Yeah, look at this. On all this area, it's been filled in with the enhanced photogrammetry. So as you're flying around this area, now it looks, I mean, it's always looked stunning. It just makes it look that little bit more authentic and a little bit more stunning, to be honest, in my eyes. And as you fly along, you'll see more. Well, listen, that's the San Fran area. Let me now take you to Helsinki and show you the same treatment. So here we go, a completely different part of the world we're in, around the Helsinki area, just to show you the scope of this package and how much it covers. Pretty much a global package. Just going to keep an eye on my aircraft. Let me just bring back my throttle and just trim a bit. The altitude is fine there. Now keep an eye, this is default, so this is stock scenery again. Again, it's around, I've got the time of year set to August just for the light and partly cloudy weather conditions. Let's take a look at some of this area. Again, stock. And this is a good example of what this scenery can do. There's a bridge coming up. And as you'll see, it seems like it's not quite complete. There we go. Just coming up here, can you see this? Let's move the camera as I'm flying over it. I'll stay zoomed in there. You see that bridge is not complete. It's almost like it's the scenery here has come to a stop, and you know, any cars going across that will end up in trouble, won't they? Yeah, it just feels like, oh, okay, that's not quite correct. That's not quite the way it should be. And again, this is what the scenery was designed to do initially, and then it just filled out more areas around the coastal areas. There's a couple more bridges along here, just coming up to them. There's two here, and you'll see these get the same treatment. So I'm going to do this flight again with the enhanced photogrammetry turned on. So take a look around. Steady the camera there. Let's just zoom out a wee bit. Get back in the aircraft. What are you doing, 182? Thank you. There we go. So notice around what's there by default or by stock. There's always a couple of artifacts. This will disappear in a moment. That's not part of the scenery. Not quite sure what that is. This is stock, so it's nothing to do with the enhanced photogrammetry. But keep an eye on these bridges here. Similar to what we saw. They're in a little better defined, but not quite, you would imagine, the way they should be. And again, watch in a moment, because I'll be showing you this part again with the Enhanced Photogrammetry turned on. Yeah, that's not quite correct. And it just feels, especially as I fly with Enhanced Photogrammetry normally, just feels like there's one or two bits and pieces missing there. That's not right at all, is it? Oh dear, dear, dear. Again, watch again when I fly over this with the Enhanced Photogrammetry. I'm moving the camera around because you'll see in a moment. Actually, get back in the cockpit, and it's always a difficulty doing this manually whilst showing you as well. There's one or two little bits and pieces there, but it just feels like it comes to an end where it should keep going. There's a bit missing here as well, so that's not filled in. Oh dear, dear, dear. Generally, otherwise, I mean, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? Otherwise, if just not quite complete. Let me show you this part now with the Enhanced Photogrammetry installed. So there we go, back at Helsinki this time with the Enhanced Photogrammetry installed. And again, you should see some changes, especially with a couple of bridges here coming up. This is a good area to showcase this. I believe that was the purpose of the Enhanced Photogrammetry. They released an Italian version some time ago, and that was the whole idea, to fill in the bits and pieces that were missing by default. So as we come over this area again, I'll just keep my aircraft nicely trimmed out so I'm not climbing or descending. That altitude will be fine. There we go, so the bridge here. Remember before it was a bit bitty cut off? Well, watch what happens now as we fly over it. You'll see it's more solid looking, more constructed, shall we say, and there's a couple of bridges around here which are given the same treatment. So there you go, it's like instead of flying over broken parts and broken bits and pieces, this now fills in the gaps and even adds a couple of other features around it. There you go, that's what it should look like. That's a lot better. And there's more added little bits and pieces. It just fills in areas around these coastal parts. Just makes the whole thing look a lot more authentic, doesn't it? That's wonderful. Gotta say, what a change from the default, from the stock. And this is even with the, you know, the world updates around it, around these areas. So whatever world update these areas affect, sometimes you still get broken bits and pieces and goodness knows what. Let me just make sure my aircraft's behaving. There we go. More filled in, more authentic looking. Look, there's another bridge here that you saw before that wasn't quite properly rendered in before. Is now fully visible. My goodness me, Hudson, get your teeth back in. More fully visible and properly rendered out. There we go. And as you fly around this area, you're going to find more and more bits and pieces. Should find a better word for that, shouldn't I? More areas of scenery which are visible with the Enhanced Photogrammetry that were not there, or not there by default or by in the stock scenery. So there you go. There's always one or two little artifacts around these areas. Not quite sure what's causing that. That could well be my own graphical settings within the sim. So there you go. So let me now, as we fly over this area, let me get on to my conclusion. Do I recommend this? Look, for the silly price, really, $12.49 or the equivalent in your money, it's going to enhance these areas. You ever flown over these areas and you found broken bridges or incomplete areas, and you think that should be a little bit more filled in, there should be a little bit more scenery, and look at that. There you go. A little bit more scenery here or there, or bridges should be more complete, specifically that type of thing. And this is well worth the price. Available on both Xbox and PC. For that price, it's absolutely a no-brainer, especially as it's essentially a worldwide mesh. Full recommendation from me, but I would like to know your thoughts below. I say that with a bit of trepidation, but as always, I'm sure you'll be giving me some interesting insights in your own thoughts. Do leave your comments below. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you soon.